Hi guys, it's Paddy here and welcome back to the Guide Plus. Today's lesson will be the introduction to the mini course that is everything there is to know about interceptions. The course will be split into 3 lessons followed by a little quiz at the end as well. In today's lesson, we'll be looking at the basic thought process behind interceptions, how we should be anticipating our opponent's next pass, and prioritizing the most dangerous one. We will also cover different scenarios showing which players we should be controlling and their basic positioning. And we'll also be looking at when to and when not to attempt an interception, as going for the interception is not always the best option defensively. Then next week in lesson 2, we'll look further into player movement, jockey mechanics, how we can use the second man press, and the partial team press. And then finally in lesson 3, we'll look at the additional techniques, important play styles, player attributes, and the additional 1%ers which can help us with interceptions. So let's get right into it. First thing I want to talk about when it comes to interceptions is the thought process behind your defending. And that depends on the situation of where the opponent's ball carrier is on the pitch, as well as the most dangerous pass. The main priority when you're defending is not necessarily to win the possession of the ball via an interception or a tackle, but it's to prevent your opponent from getting into a shooting position, or at least leave him with a low percentage shot or a low percentage chance. So sometimes it might be better to try and go for an interception and block off a passing lane, while other times it might be better to be aggressive and try and go for a tackle. All in all, you want to try and limit your opponent's goal scoring opportunities. And the only way to do that is if you have better anticipation than your opponent. Are you able to observe the pitch and figure out where's the danger? Now we've figured out what's the most dangerous pass or what's the most dangerous lane that the opponent can dribble in. Now how do we position our players to cover the passing lane to prevent that pass from happening while still putting pressure on the ball? These are some of the things that you guys should be thinking about while you're defending. Also, you have to think about when it's best not to be too aggressive, as not every time you can go for the interception. As sometimes if you try and cut off a pass too early, the opponent can change his mind, play a different type of pass. For example, here, after the opponent plays the ball to the fullback, I pressed up to cover the forwards pass into his winger, but me being too aggressive too early on, I leave this space in behind, and now my opponent just plays an easy ball over the top, and he's through. So you can't always be super aggressive for the interceptions, as it won't always work, and you have to find the right balance of risk versus reward. You have to time it, you have to be patient, and when the opportunity comes, that's when you go for it. Also, depending on how your opponent attacks, this could also affect how much you can win the ball via an interception as well. For example, one opponent might attack very direct and always be looking for that direct ball, that driven pass into the striker at the earliest opportunity. Against this type of player, you'll have plenty of chances to intercept the ball. However, against another opponent who's perhaps slower with his build-up, maybe likes to play a bit more possession, likes to dribble, maybe likes to switch it from fullback to fullback, or is just overall safer with his passing in general, you won't have near the same amount of opportunities to win the ball via interceptions. And you might have to win the ball more via tackles. So now let's take a look at a few common in-game scenarios, and I'll walk you through the thought process for each of them. So the first example here is the most common one where you'll find yourself making an interception, and that's usually when the opponent passes from the center mid into his striker. So as we can see here, he goes wide, he now comes back through the center, and he's going to try and make this pass from Hullet into the striker, so then he can find either a shot on goal or an extra pass before a shot. So what we want to do is, as soon as he's made this pass here, we got to think, okay, what's the most dangerous pass when Hullet receives the ball? Or we're trying to anticipate his next move basically. So there's 3 options that Hullet can make here. So either one, he can try and pass in here, which it's not a very likely, not a very good pass, because we've got we've got plenty of players around him. He's a bit congested on this side, and he just came from out there. So he's trying to open up the pitch now. He's going to try and pass through the middle. So this one is the first option. He's not going to pass there. The second one is he's going to try and find Eusebio, and he's trying to get Eusebio to drop into this space in between the midfield line and then the defensive line. The third option is that he could pass to the center mid across here, but again, that's just to recycle possession. The most attacking and the most effective pass he can make here is to go into the striker, and that's going to be the most dangerous. So we're going to try and intercept that by selecting either Hullet or Putelis, one of our center mids, and we're just going to come in that passing lane to prevent that pass from happening. As you can see, I switch to Putelis and I bring her down, slight micro movements, and now she's in a position that I don't need to make a tackle. She'll just control the ball, and there we go. I've got possession. Second example, same thing here. He passes back to his center mid, and now again, where's my opponent looking? He's looking to play into the striker's feet here, in between the midfield line and the defensive line. There's a lot of there's only two passes here again. He's going to try and find one of the strikers, and we've positioned Vieira just in front of the defender to intercept that ball. Let's pause it right there. So as we can see, let's go back a little bit actually. So here we just positioned Putelis across here in front of Mbappe. We're positioned Vieira, and as his AI, because his AI is obviously not going to stay in this passing lane where we can intercept the ball. So his AI is just going to move, a little bit there, or maybe Mbappe might come up there or down just to find that passing angle or find a new passing angle. So likewise, as the opponent's strikers move position, as we can see here, R9 goes down. What are we going to do? We're going to slightly go down with Vieira, and we're just going to mirror his movements, and we switch to Putelis. So again, we're trying to anticipate the most dangerous pass, but again, he goes into R9. Because we already brought down Vieira, that gets intercepted. Another example here comes from a throw-in. Again, passes to the center mid. Where's the most dangerous pass? Where is our opponent trying to attack? He's trying to get into the striker's feet. He's trying to hit these players. So we are going to anticipate that. We're going to switch early, try and get to Vieira, trying to cut off these passing lanes. As we can see here, because let's just back it up a little bit first. So we'll go back here. We first passes. So we'll go all the way back actually to the throw-in. Throws it in. First pass, again, most dangerous pass, straight in there. Second pass here could potentially go to R9. So what do? We switch to Vieira. And we bring him downwards to prevent this pass from happening. After we've brought Vieira down, now a new passing angle opens up into this player, because he's playing with the 4-3-2-1. Very good formation. He's got left forward, right forward. So he's got three passing options. I've only got two center mids. Because I've only got two center mids to cut these passing lanes, our wing is a little bit too far to drop back. Ideally, we want to use our midfielders to protect these passing lanes and to try and intercept the ball. But sometimes, like this example here, he's just too far away to fill in that passing lane. So what do? We again anticipate. We think it's pretty certain he's going to make this pass. So we switch to our center back, and this is another thing we can do. So it doesn't always have to be the interception from the center mids. It can also be from the center back if we reposition our center back in front of the ball. Again, we have to be very precise with the player switch here. So we right stick switch to Renard, as we can see on my controller. We right stick switch there, we switch to Renard, and we just position ourselves right in front of the ball, ready to intercept. Okay, we actually didn't even intercept with Renard, but you get the point, right? So that was the most ideal pass until we came across, and then he probably saw us switch to Renard and cut that passing lane off and decided, okay, we got to try and find a new pass. And, you know, with Renard in front of the man now, Patelis actually has no available passes forwards at least. So can't play to R9, can't play to the other striker because that passing lane's covered as well. So ideally, the opponent should be going backwards there. But like I said, we're being patient, we're cutting off the passing lanes, and eventually we try and get the opponent to make a mistake. The second common example we can see here is when the centre back intercepts. And we can see here, it's usually from a through ball. So the opponent has got the ball here. Oh, yep. So the opponent here plays to the centre mid. And again, where's the dangerous pass? It's going to be in behind, in where the space is. This is more an advanced move here, where we you can see that I'm using second man press to step up Vieira, and I probably switch to him as well. And the opponent can actually see there's going to be a space in behind. So he's going to attempt a through ball here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bait him. I'm going to pretend like that through ball is on. And then with the correct timing, I'm going to play a switch to Vieira and then drop him back. So then this passing lane gets covered at the last second. So we see here, I bring him down and then I bring back Vieira. So here, the through ball's on. He could play it over the top as well. I trust Vieira there to get in front of it. And I just position him last second. Let's play it in full speed. I bring Vieira down and then bring him back. It's just a small micro movement here from Vieira where as you can see, he's going downwards like this and then I step that way. If I don't step this way, backwards, to give him time to catch up to the ball as it's coming and then intercept, he doesn't intercept this ball. If I keep going downwards like this, it goes straight past him. But me going backwards, tracking backwards at an angle, I'm able to intercept the ball as it's coming. Let's see another example here. Very similar thing with Vieira. I drag him out. As we can see, the through ball's opening up to Salah, and then I'm just going to track back with Vieira and intercept that there. As you can see, he's got a very good body type. He's 6'4", I think, so he's able to lunge and win that ball there. Now, those are the two most common scenarios you find yourself intercepting the ball, or at least having an opportunity to intercept the ball. Now, let's see an example where it's probably best to hold off and not go for the interception. So, in this example here, we see Cafu switches the ball across to the fullback, and I'm already trying to look at where's the most dangerous pass. We know that this ball is still being traveled in the air. We know his fullback probably has to take a touch, or at least we've got a little bit of time for this ball to drop down to him, right? So in the meantime, while that ball's still traveling, I switch early. I switch across to Philipp Lahm, and I'm going to position myself in front of the fullback here so he can't play that ball down the wing. You can see here, this is probably a bit too aggressive for me, as my opponent just plays it straight over the top and he's through. So this is, I said before, sometimes you got to hold off and be patient. This is one of the times where being too eager and being too aggressive, you get punished for it. So we can't always be trying to position ourselves in front there to prevent that driven pass into his feet, because he can just loft the ball over the top like that. Let's see another example here. Again, same thing. He's switching across, and you'll see a lot. It depends on the opponent as well. So some opponents, they'll just play a lot of through balls, and you might get done by this pass a lot. Other times, even here, he takes a touch and he still is able to play that through ball, even though I've positioned myself, you know, in front of the passing, in the passing lane. To pass to feet there, that gets intercepted. But he plays a through ball, and there is space for him to attack out there. So we got to be careful, guys, when we're trying to go for interceptions. We got to be careful of the space that we're leaving in behind, like we said here. So we moved our Philipp Lahm into this position, and what's that doing? It's creating space in behind, and he can easily just play that through ball. So this is a very different scenario when you probably shouldn't be attempting a interception here or being too aggressive. Let's, again, same thing here. Even now, he's taken a touch. Again, he's driving here. I should just bring back my winger. But instead, I position my fullback in front of the winger, trying to be too aggressive, and I leave this space. I leave this space in behind for him to play a through ball. And what does he do? He punishes me for it. All he does is do a ball roll just to find a new passing angle, and we're done. So we've got to be careful, guys, just to make sure that when we are stepping into these positions to intercept a passing lane, it's fine to do so, but we've got to make sure that the space that we're leaving isn't something that the opponent can take advantage of. So usually it will be lateral movements with our center mids, as we could have seen in the first couple clips. And then if we go back to these sort of clips here where I position my center back, where's this one here? I think it's this one here where I position my center back. We have to be certain that this pass is coming for us to do that, because even here, right, it's the right idea to position. This is the most dangerous pass, playing that into feet. But if he does choose to play that, risky ball over the top, he's through. So we've got to be 100% certain when we're stepping up our defenders into these positions that he won't attack this space. Otherwise, majority of the time, we just reposition our center mids and wingers to try and intercept these passes. Just to summarize the basics of interceptions, we're trying to position our players in the passing lanes, and we're trying to prioritize the most dangerous pass that we think our opponent's going to make. So it's all about anticipation, guys, and decision making. So that's all for this lesson today, guys. Let us know how you go with it, and if you have any feedback, just leave it down below.